Welcome scholars, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting integers. What do we mean by integers? So an integer is a negative or positive number and zero. Basically a number that can be expressed without using a fractional aspect to it, right? So it's all the natural numbers, all the counting numbers from 1 to infinity, to positive infinity, as well as 0, as well as what are called the additive inverses of those natural numbers. So the additive inverse of 2 is -2, the additive inverse of 5 is -5. When you combine them, you get 0. That's what we mean by the additive inverse. So it's all the positive numbers, or the natural or counting numbers, 0, and the additive inverse of the natural numbers, the negative aspect to those counting numbers, right? So we could say the opposite of those positive, the natural numbers. So integers then go from negative infinity through 0 to positive infinity. Integers do not include fractions, decimals, and so on. Right? So when we're adding and subtracting integers, a good way to demonstrate that is using the number line, which shows the integers. So this indicates negative numbers going to infinity, positive numbers going to positive infinity, and of course 0. The idea is, when you're adding, you move to the right. You move towards positive infinity. When you're subtracting, you move to the left, towards negative infinity. So if you bear that in mind, once you're showing the operation of adding integers on the number line, just remember, start at the number where they're telling you to start, and keep moving to the right if you're adding. Keep moving that many places to the left if you're subtracting. No, you're not going to be able to use the number line for all the integers you're asked to add or subtract. Clearly there's a limit to using the number line, whether it's on the board or in your book. There's a limit to the space, how many integers you can line up and do the operation. But the number line is good in helping you to get the concept, the basic concept, and then from that you'll be able to work much of it in your head. Of course, we have the calculator to help us when we are able to use it, but you're not always able to use the calculator. Some exams, the calculator is forbidden, so you have to learn the concept of adding integers and be able to do so in your head. Give me a minute, let me plug in my laptop. 1 minute. Okay. I have to charge up my best friend. My laptop is one of my best friends. Alright, so I have to take care of her, give her food. So we'll start -5 plus 3 plus 4. Just remember, if we're adding, we keep moving to the right. This way, to the right. If we're subtracting, we move to the left. Okay? So we start at -5, and we're going to move 3 places to the right, and then 4 more places to the right. So we start at -5, 1, 2, 3 places to the right. That brings us to -2, and then we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 places more. So -5 plus 3 plus 4 gives +2. Right? Remember, negative numbers are less than 0. Right? So adding, first we need to get to 0 and then past 0, coming into the natural or counting numbers, going towards positive infinity. 4 take away 8. Now in primary school we were told you cannot take a bigger number from a smaller number. Now you're being asked to take 8 from 4. Well, now you have been introduced to the concept of negative numbers, numbers that are less than 0. So now you are able to take bigger numbers from smaller numbers. So imagine you're moving from 4, you're subtracting 8, so you're moving 8 places to the left, you're going to pass 0, because there's only 4 places from 0 to 4. So if you're taking away 8, you're going to pass 0 and go into the realm of the negative numbers. So 8 places from 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 takes us to 0, and then 4 more will take us to negative 4. So when you're subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number, a positive smaller number, you're going to end up with a negative result. Right? Negative 3 plus 9. So we're starting at negative 3 and we're moving 1, 2, 3. 3 takes us to 0. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So negative 3 plus 9 gives 6. Right? Now I'll tell you a trick. Remember, the sign goes with the number that follows it. So we can actually rearrange the numbers and the signs. We could say, remember, addition is commutative. It doesn't matter which order in which you add. Alright, so let's say we work with 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4, which is 7. Take away 5. We still end up with the 2. Right? And let's say we take the negative 8 plus 4. If we started at negative 8 and move 4 places, 7, 6, 5, 4, it will take us back to negative 4. And let's say we rearrange this. Let's say we had 9 minus 3, we'd still get 6. So sometimes you might find that if you just, once you carry the sign with the digit that follows it, they must move together. So if you take the positive 9 and put it here, 9, take away 3, you would get your 6. Right? You would get your 6. Alright, so let's say now we're starting at 2. We're taking away 7, so we're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Takes us to negative 5. And then now we're going to add 8. So from the negative 5, we're adding 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That takes us to positive 3. Right? So if we start with a negative number and we're adding a bigger positive number, it's going to take us past 0 over into the realm of the positive guys, positive numbers. So I want you to pick up the patterns so that it will be easier for you. You can just work it in your head. Once you start picking up these patterns, 4 take away 11. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's negative 7. And then we're going to add 6, so we're moving back to the right. We're adding, so from negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That takes us to negative 1. So 4 take away 11 brought us to negative 7. And then the negative 7 plus 6 takes us to negative 1. Negative 1, take away 3, take away 5. So we start at negative 1, we're taking away, so we're moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, and then 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that will take us to negative 9. What do you notice there? If we start with a negative number and we take away something, and we take away some. So all of these have a subtractive principle to them. We can just add the digits and the answer is negative. That's a pattern of working with integers. If you start with a negative number and then if you keep subtracting, you can just add the digits and the answer is negative. So 1 plus 3 plus 5 give 9, and we know the answer is going to be negative. Or negative 4 minus 2. So we start at negative 4, we take away 2, and then we're going to add 6. So we're going in the opposite direction, back to the right, we're adding 6. So from negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So negative 6 plus 6, those are additive inverses. They cancel each other out. You move 6 places from 0, you move 6 places back, so you end up at 0. Negative 6 plus 6 gives 0. Additive inverses. Any number and its additive inverse will give 0. 7 take away 7. So 7, moving back 7 places, we know that's going to take us to 0. Any number subtract itself is 0. They are additive inverses. Inverse of each other, opposite of each other. And then from 0 we move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that takes us to 5. Right? Okay, so negative 3, remember what we said about the pattern? If you start with a negative number and you keep subtracting, what can we do? We can just add the digits and the answer is negative. So we should get what? We should get 3 plus 1 plus 2. We should get negative 6. Let's see. Negative 3, take away 1, take away 2. Remember now, in maths, mathematicians love to identify patterns because patterns help us to save time. We love to look at patterns so we can predict and so we can avoid doing the same thing again, right? We are smart, that's how we save time. So we have noticed that whenever we start with a negative number and we keep subtracting, the result that we get would be the same as if we just added the digits and the answer is negative. It saves time if you know. But I want you to do it on the number line to show you the concept. After this though, you should be able to just go straight. Once you're starting with a negative number and you keep subtracting, go straight, add the digits, and the answer is negative. And if you want to go back and test it again on the number line to remind yourself, just to make sure the pattern was correct, go ahead and do it. Alright? But take advantage of the fact that mathematicians have done this thousands and thousands of times through the centuries and realize that this is a fixed pattern. So you can take advantage of that. Now we have 4 subtract 8 plus 7. We're starting at positive 4. We're moving back 8 places. Takes us to negative 4. Now we're going back to the right because we're adding. So 7 places from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That takes us to 3. Positive 3. Alright, so we have a couple more to go. Oh, I didn't even write these in. Okay. Alright, so let me just quickly write in. Alright, so let's do this quickly then. So we have negative 4 plus 2 minus 5, right? Negative 4, move 2 places to the right because we're adding 2. And then back to the left, we're subtracting 5. Back to the left, 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will take us to negative 7. Negative 2 minus 3 minus 2. Tell me quickly what that is. You know the pattern for that one. What is it? 2 plus 3, 5 plus 2, 7. Negative 7. Let's test it out to see if this pattern holds true. Starting at negative 2, 3 places to the left, then 2 more places, negative 7. So the pattern holds true. These patterns in mathematics are very faithful. They will not change, right? Once you have established the pattern, and these have been tested thousands of times, you can rest assured. So 6 take away 8, starting at positive 6, moving 8 places to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That brings us to negative 2, and now we're adding 3, 1, 2, 3. So that brings us to positive 1, 7 take away 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That brings us to negative 5, which would have been the same as negative 12 plus 7. Remember, we can, once you're taking the sign with it, it's 5. And now we're adding 3 from negative 5. We're moving 3 to the right, and that takes us to negative 2. Alright, positive 4 take away 5. 5 places to the left brings us to negative 1, and then negative 1 take away 2 brings us to negative 3. Negative 1 take away 5 take away 20. What's the answer? You can't do it on the number line because I can't put 20 things on my number line, but following the pattern, you should know the answer out of your head. Because we're starting with a negative number, we're taking away a number, we're taking away a number. What are we to do? Add the numbers, and the answer is negative. So 20 plus 5, 25 plus 1, this is negative 26. So you must get to the point where, even if it is not practical for you to draw a number line in your book, suppose you had negative 50 minus 30 minus 100. That would be negative 180, right? You don't have the space to put negative 180, but following the pattern, you know it. And there are other patterns too, right? You start with a negative number that's smaller, you're adding a bigger positive number. Is the same as just subtracting the small one from the big one. So you can figure these patterns out by yourself from working them, and then you get yourself to the point where you just know what to do. Having done it on the number line, you should understand the concept of what we're doing. When we're adding, we're moving towards positive infinity, meaning to the right. Subtracting, you're moving towards negative infinity, to the left, from the starting point, right? So having that concept in mind, you should be able to work it in your head. If you are allowed, of course, you can use your calculator and just put in your negative values, positive values, and you will get your result. But you should be able to also do it mentally, mental arithmetic, if you are called upon to do so. So if you have been helped by this video, please drop a line and say thank you, miss. Please share the video to others so they can benefit. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let me know in the comments if there are any topics you'd like me to do videos on, and I will certainly do that for you. My beloved scholars, I'll see you in the next video.